Hi Gemini, welcome to your April 2020 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. As far as what we have in front of us, this is what I call the bridging the gap spread, and the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest, and the cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. These are the past energies, present energies, future energies, and once we get through all those, we'll pull some oracle cards with some additional insight. That's where the bridging the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Alright, so with all that out of the way. And also let me point out too, that as we're going through the spread, if it sounds more like this is the other person's energy to you and the cards on the right sound like your energy, then just roll with that too. But for the sake of avoiding confusion, I'm always going to refer to the cards on this side as your energy. Alright, so with that said, past energy on your side, we have Sacrifice. So this is actually the equivalent of the Hanged Man in the Major Arcana. So, I mean, if we just take the artwork at face value, this could just be saying that you might have actually left the connection. Now with Sacrifice being the name of the card, you would think that there would actually have been a reason for doing so. And if we were to look for a reason, it could have been possibly for career pursuits, because for you guys, Pisces, which this card represents, is your house of career and social status. So, maybe you had a job offer that took you away from the person you were with, for example. That's a generic way, or maybe you just had to shift your focus to finances. And maybe that was what, led to maybe less attention being brought to the connection, even if not a flat out breakup, right? Like, for example, you guys had Mercury going retrograde through this sign recently. So maybe you just had a busy time at work, you know what I mean? You might have had to go redo some things, maybe some negotiations had to be redone, things along those lines. So this could just be saying that in the past you weren't really able to put a lot of energy into the connection. That's what I see taking place there. Past energy on their side, we have the Eight of Cups. So this is an energy that usually also in the traditional tarot represents walking away and seeking something more fulfilling, right? So it's interesting if we look at the fact that on this side, it looks like it's the masculine energy that's walking away from the connection, and then on this side, it looks like the masculine energy is actually in pursuit of the connection, and the feminine energy is the one who seems to be backing away. So kind of interesting there, which to me could say that it could go either way, where maybe some of you guys were the ones who walked away, and in other situations it was them who walked away. But either way, what I'm seeing here, and another way this could be playing out too, which could be to say that maybe you made an advance toward them, maybe they declined the advance, and because of that you figured, okay, well, I guess they're not interested, right? So maybe you decided to leave at that point, or vice versa. Maybe they felt they were putting energy into the connection and you again might have wandered off, so that might have been what took place. But yeah, either way, in the past, especially with all this Pisces energy, could just be as simple as saying that maybe during the Mercury retrograde in Pisces, you guys might have had some crossed wires, and maybe because of that, you might have parted ways. In the present position, we have the Four of Coins and Transformation. So this is the equivalent of the Death card in traditional tarot, and then this is actually Capricorn energy. So for you guys, Capricorn is your 8th house, so we do see two cards that could be pointing to 8th house matters here. Now, factoring in the artwork here, if we look at the artwork, it looks like there's a figure in the distance, right? Almost like a ghostly type thing, where to me that again just represents there being physical distance between the two of you, possibly just emotional distance, but I'm feeling physical distance too. And if we see, it looks like they have a crown on there, and then it looks like he does as well. So this could just be saying that, maybe there was some financial fulfillment, right? But maybe on the emotional tip, you guys weren't satisfied, or vice versa, right? So maybe you were having financial success, for example, but maybe you're ultimately starting to realize that wasn't fulfilling, right? Now, a lot of people are reevaluating how they feel about money, given the way things are going down in the world right now, right? Where you see how quickly all of that could disappear. And, maybe that has people revaluing what's important to them. So that could be what's taking place there. And then with transformation, if we see the artwork and names on the card, we have Pluto and Persephone. So this could just be saying that might be the nature of your connection, where one of you, might get pulled away for work for a long time, and then maybe this is the time of year where you guys might be coming back together, or vice versa. But given that we see the walking away in the past position, and given their card in the present, I have the feeling that this is saying that, you might have actually wrapped up that cycle where you had to put a lot of focus and energy into your career. And maybe now, because of that, you guys are actually able to come back together. So that's what I'm seeing there for most of you anyway. And present energy on their side, we have the Sun card. So this is pretty self-explanatory in that regard, right? That we always think of the Sun card as representing playful energy, light energy. Looks that way in this artwork for this deck as well, right? So this could just be saying that maybe this is another indicator for me that maybe you guys are reuniting, right? And this kind of makes me think of spring, right? With the growth we see there, with all the fruits and vegetables, and then like we were saying with that Pluto Persephone vibe, maybe this is just saying that now with springtime coming around, maybe just because, again, maybe you guys, whatever work you might have been focusing on, wrapped up, and now you're able to be together physically again. That could be what's going on there. But at the very least, it says that this person seems to be trying to infuse some passion into the connection, where maybe your focus might still be on finances in some way, and they're just trying to lighten the mood. So that's what I'm seeing there. But obviously, a pretty big contrast in energy from the Eight of Cups, right? Unless they were the pursuers in the past and they're still in pursuit. But if they were the ones who were declining in the past, we could see the change in energy there. So maybe it's an absence makes the heart grow fonder type scenario. All right, and in the future position, we have the Three of Cups and the King of Coins. So this is actually Cancer energy here, which for you guys represents your second house of finances. And then this is actually Taurus energy here, so which represents your 12th house. But seeing these two together, if we think about 12th house as possible completions, right, this could just be emphasizing what I was saying before, that maybe whatever cycle you guys were going through, where you might have had to put a heavy focus on career, maybe all of that's wrapped up now. And now you're actually able to, celebrate that victory. And with the King of Coins, that could represent the completion there as well, right? Which is to say that whatever goal you had set for yourself, that is taken care of now. Now that actually allows you to put your focus into your connection. I know some tarot readers look at the Three of Cups and think third party scenario, but that's not at all how I see this card, unless there's really a lot of other cards pointing to something like that too. But what I usually see this as, given that it's Cancerian energy, I view this as these long-standing connections. So, for example, even if it's not celebrating with this person in particular, it could be celebrating with family, friends that you might not have seen for a while, And that could support that thing too, where maybe, again, this was where you guys had to travel for work. Maybe you had some big project you were working on. Maybe now it's wrapped up and you're able to come back home. So few different ways I could see that playing out there, but either way, this definitely looks to be a continuation of the positive energy that we saw they were bringing in the present. And the future energy on their side, we have the Moon. So the Moon is one of those cards where what I usually point out with this energy is that I know some readers view this as deception, but what I always point out is that pretty much everything that's there in the dark will be there in the light too, right? So usually it's just that it's not necessarily deception, but you might have to feel your way through a situation a little bit more. And the example I give is if the lights go out in a room you're not familiar with, you might really feel your way around the room to, try to get the light back on because you're not familiar with your surroundings. You don't want to bump into something, knock something over, right? So this could just represent that that's where they're coming from. Maybe they're tapped into their emotions a little bit more if we take the artwork into consideration too, right? It also looks like a pretty good time, so there's that. And what this could all be pointing to as well, given that we see moon symbolism here and we see Cancer energy, which is ruled by the moon, and that Taurus energy, this could just be saying that maybe by the time of the Taurus new moon towards the end of April, that could be when you're officially done with all the stuff and can put more energy into the connection. That could be what this is pointing to for some of you. I'm trying to think if anything else comes to mind with this. Yeah, that's more or less all I'm seeing there. And then the bottom of the deck on your side, we have love, which is actually the equivalent of the Lover's card, which is the major arcana card for your sign. So, if nothing else, to see this at the bottom of the deck, I would see that there's obviously love between the two of you, but also this could be saying that that was the ultimate motivator of this situation anyway, right? Like maybe you, especially given that the word sacrifice comes to mind there, maybe you did think that, okay, this is, for both of our benefits, right? But maybe either you or the other person ended up, even with the financial success, not being as fulfilled as you thought, and then realizing that, okay, us being together is actually more important, right? Like I said, people, I feel like on the collective are realizing that anyway, but that could be what's at play there. And if nothing else, this is saying that you guys are feeling back in your zone too. So of course that could bring relationship harmony too when you feel comfortable in your skin. And you guys have Venus. That's pretty much going to be in your sign. I think around maybe the 3rd or 4th of April, and then it's going to be there for about 4 months because we're eventually going to have a retrograde cycle in there. So, having Venus in your sign could also bring those kinds of things your way too. And the bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Two of Swords. So, looking at this card at the bottom of the deck, another way that this energy could be playing out too could just be saying that this person might run hot and cold, right? Quite literally, we see the hot and cold vibe with the different colors there, the red and then like that bluish gray type color. And then, to go from the sun to the moon, that could be another way it's playing out, which is to say that, maybe they're a bit undecided. Maybe they, one day they're into it, the next day they're not. And, maybe that's just how they are by default, or maybe they feel like it's because you're not putting enough attention into the connection too, where they might feel like, okay, well, you're always focused on finances, right? So something to keep in mind there too. Like I said, it does look like that'll be coming to an end for you guys. At least, I see that celebratory vibe toward the end in the future position. So maybe this is just saying that that's what was causing the issues in the past. But yeah, just something to keep in mind there. All right, moving on to the Oracle cards. First, I'll see if we get anything from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck here. And I did pre-shuffle this deck before we started recording. And what I'm looking for here is just going to be some jumpers. So first I'll be looking for any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while and nothing comes up, I just take that as a sign to keep moving. But we'll see if we get anything. All right, so like I said, first we're looking for unspoken messages from you to them. Okay, nothing come up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles before we move on. All right, nothing there, so I'll see if we get any unspoken messages from them to you. Okay, nothing coming up there, but I'll give it a few more shuffles before we wrap up. Nope, nothing coming up there. So what I will say too, while I was shuffling and I was just looking at these cards, what stands out to me another way too is that we see a lot of cups energy here. And then the sun energy, while that's fire energy, that's also seen as very passionate energy too. Whereas on the other side, we see a lot of pentacle energy at play, you know what I mean? So that could be a warning there too, which is to say, maybe this person just feels like emotionally you're not putting energy into the connection. And maybe that's what the love at the bottom of the deck is saying too, which is to say to get back in touch with that side of yourself too. And like I said, with the Three of Cups in the future, it looks like you will get there eventually anyway. But just something that was standing out to me while I was shuffling. All right, and lastly, we'll see if we get anything from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Same situation here. I did pre-shuffle it, and I'm just looking for one card here, though, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, got one. All right. So you guys got New Life. There we go. And there's the artwork for it, and the number is 39. So let's see what that has to say. Okay, it says birth of new ideas, growth, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, life renewing itself. So interesting. The birth of new ideas almost makes me think of sacrifice, which is the hanged man, right? Which, if we think of the traditional tarot, it's the person upside down trying to get a different perspective on things. And then it says life renewing itself. That makes me think of the transformation energy that we see there. So definitely interesting. But yeah, anyway, sorry, back to the messages. It says, when spring awakens the world, joy and excitement can be felt all around and in your very core. Blossoms burst from trees overnight, birds return home and sing their glorious song, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beckon on all of us. This is one of those times in your life when new ideas inspire you and new opportunities bring you hope for securing your dreams for seeing your dreams come true. All is well in your world, and you have the energy you need to feel renewed. Allow your heart to fill with enthusiasm. Let your light shine, for this is a time of good fortune. So definitely a pretty positive message there. And the mentioning of springtime too, again, is interesting because I was saying how the Pluto Persephone thing could just be pointing to now we have reached springtime, and maybe that's just how your work might work. Maybe where you have a very busy season during the fall and winter, maybe spring, summer, you actually get to enjoy some of that success. And then we see the indicator for me for spring and new life in the card and the present on their side too. All right, the relationship message says new energy enters old relationships, and new relationships are bursting with the sweetness and vibrancy only encountered when winter gives way to spring. This is a time to connect with others and share excitement, passion, and hearts full of joy. This card is a very auspicious sign with respect to love and partnerships in all forms. So yeah, again, pretty positive message there too. And that's what I was feeling. Like I said, obviously it looks like this person might feel like, the passion might be a bit lacking from your end with all that energy I was referring to earlier. But like I said, it looks like for whatever the case may be, whatever you were dealing with does seem to be wrapping up now. For some of you, it even could have been depression now that I think about it too. So maybe it was just a dark cycle you guys were going through in your life, and now maybe you feel like you're, back to yourselves in that regard, and maybe that's what the Lovers is saying at the bottom of the deck there too. All right, so we'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. Bye.